What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to briefly talk about the Max Payne remake. We talked about Alan Wake's part of this news story on Podcast Now a few days ago. I wanted to look at Max Payne because Remedy kind of went through how Control 2 is doing, how Max Payne is doing, how Condor is doing. They went through really their entire portfolio, and they talk about Max Payne, and it sounds very, very good. I want to talk about when this game is going to come out yet again because I think it could be close, and regardless of when it comes out, right? The game I think is going to be pretty darn big and maybe bigger than what people think it's going to be. So let's look at this article again from Video Games Chronicle, and we're just going to look at the Max Payne little paragraph that they have. Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake also continued in the production readiness stage. He said the team made considerable progress throughout the year. Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake is going to be a major new game with great potential, enabled by a similar development budget as Alan Wake 2. And then he also says he expects Condor, Control 2, and Max Payne to advance to the next stages of development during the first half of this year. Now, a thing that I do want to kind of slow myself down, right? Right before this in the paragraph, they talk about Condor and they talk about Control 2, and they have a nice little line that says both games have proven fun and engaging gameplay. Now, they didn't say that for Max Payne. I'm not saying like, okay, Max Payne's gameplay isn't fun or engaging, but I don't know if that's like a kind of benchmark thing that it's just he didn't say it, so that means it hasn't reached that benchmark, right? They didn't talk about that part, but a couple of things to discuss, right? So it seems like Max Payne is going along well. Obviously, like they said, they're going to reach the next stage of production. I really don't think it's this year. I know there was that kind of theory or possibility or speculation from the fandom that maybe you could actually get it. I think because of the Alan Wake DLC, I think maybe because of just all the different games. I mean, they're working on 3-4 games at a time, right? Which is nuts. And it's 400 people that work there, but it's still quite a bit for a team of that size to make that many games, right? I think next year, and honestly, the way they're talking about Control and even Condor, to be honest with you, but let's just say Control 2, I would not be shocked if next year is Control 2 and Max Payne. But maybe Max Payne no matter what. It could slip for sure, but I get the sense that it's sooner rather than later. I just don't think it's this soon. Again, I think some people do believe it could come out this year, and that's fine. I don't really, I would say, believe that. A thing to throw in, though, in terms of how big the game would be, same budget or similar budget to Alan Wake. Now, they're very smart with their money, and they kind of have to be, right? Because niche games, they're not going to make a boatload of money, so they can't spend freaking $300 million, right, on an Alan Wake 2 for it to sell and make them $50 million, and then they lose all this money. They have to be smart with their spending. Alan Wake, I don't think there's like an actual confirmed budget. I think the rumored budget is under $100 million, but it says two different things. Number one, it's still, I think, a smart budget. They're not going insane. And also, two, though, I mean, even though Alan Wake 2's budget wasn't gigantic, it still, I think, shows a lot of confidence in Max Payne. Because, again, you think of a remake, and I think this too. You think of remakes and remasters. They cost less, and they tend to sell really well. That's kind of the thing with remakes and remasters. It takes half the people, half the time. Time is a big one, too. Not as much time, not as many people, not as much money. And so, I mean, that could be a con, right? It was like, okay, well, why is Max Payne being a remake cost as much as Alan Wake 2? I would look at it, again, as I think they spend their money pretty wisely. It's also 2 games being remade instead of 1, right? It's Max Payne 1 and 2. And a lot of the heavy work, I would say, maybe is already done through Alan Wake. I mean, a lot of the dark place, a lot of, Sam Lake's character there, a lot of that very much was Max Payne. So I feel like, you play Alan Wake 2 and you say there's a lot of Max Payne influence in there already. I would say not that hard to maybe just shift it over, but that kind of production scale that Alan Wake had was very good. Very, very good. So to see that hopefully being taken place in Max Payne's going to also be exciting. But again, I mean, you do have to spend your money wisely, and you don't want these remakes costing too much, right? Because there's a chance they don't sell maybe as well as you would think. I feel like they're going to do quite well. And I'm sure we'll talk about that as the years go. But I feel like iconic property and iconic games, and everybody's kind of a sucker, right, for a good remake. There's a lot of people that don't like the remake era we're in, and in a sense, I don't either, but I like the preservation angle of it, and I also think we have gotten some very good remakes. You can look at the Resident Evils of the world, but there's been a lot of other ones, and some more like under the radar, like a SpongeBob, Battle for Bikini Bottom, or even like Destroy All Humans. Like, there's actually been quite a few studios even that have done remakes really, really well. Again, we'll talk about it more, I'm sure, as we get closer to it, but seems like it's going to be a pretty big deal. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.